Hi, I'm Mrs. Allshouse.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Strutz.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Camerata.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Lutz.
And we're the first grade team.
We know that this is not the ideal situation. Thank you in advance for your patience and understanding through this process.
Though this year will be a little different, we're excited for the learning opportunities that lie ahead.
As we navigate through this new journey, please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. We're here for you.
We're prepared to make this a fantastic year for your child.
Hi, now that we've talked about Google Classroom, let's dive right into the academics of first grade. So again, it's Mrs. Allshouse, Mrs. Camerata, Mrs. Lutz, and Mrs. Strutz. I'm Mrs. Lutz, and I'm going to be talking to you about language arts. Now, in language arts, we teach reading using 4 different strategies. We are going to teach your children about phonics, sight word vocabulary, picture clues, and context clues. Those are the 4 strategies that we use to teach reading. Phonics is the relationship between letters and sounds. After this, your students will be able to sound out words. This is important because we know that to comprehend or understand a story, your reading must be accurate. To do this, we have a great new program called RGR, or Really Great Reading. This is an intense program that really focuses on the letter sounds and how to build them to make words. We will use color tiles and letters so they understand how you group letters and sounds to make words. We also focus on a strong sight word vocabulary. Remember, sight words, or we also call them heart words as well, because if you know them by heart, you don't have to sound them out. Heart words are important because if you have to sound every single word out in a sentence, you won't focus on the comprehension or understanding of the story. You have a sticker word book in the folder, and every week we are going to ask you to learn 10 words a week. And again, we know that those words are mastered if you can say those words without having to sound them out. We also will teach your child to read by using picture clues. So we always want to talk about what the picture shows because that's going to help your child understand what the story is going to be about. And last, context clues. Sometimes if your child is reading, they may come upon a word that stumps them. It may not follow those phonics rules, and they may not be able to sound it out. There may not be a picture there, so sometimes they have to use a context clue, and that means they look at all the other words in the sentence, and hopefully those other words will help them figure out what that mystery or word they were stumped on is. So again, when we teach reading, we focus on the phonics or the sounding out of words, a strong sight word vocabulary, picture clues, and context clues. To do this, we will have whole group and small group reading times. Whole group is when we'll teach a lesson with everyone together. We'll break into small groups, meaning we will have your child read a book based on their reading level. We also will do spelling. Spelling will focus on a particular sound each week. Grammar, we will talk about sentence structure. Does your child have a capital at the beginning of the sentence, punctuation at the end, a noun and a verb, and linking all of those things together to make a great sentence, and eventually linking sentences to form a super paragraph. We will do writing. Writing will be, again, we'll do a lot of narrative writing where we talk about something that your child knows that they would like to write about. Again, we'll focus on good sentence structure, and that sentence structure will allow them to do some really great writing. When we do the writing, we're not going to correct every single word that your child writes because remember, we're teaching them how to be great writers, and we don't want them to be afraid of spelling a word wrong because that will take away from that writing experience. And we'll also work on handwriting as well, using the Handwriting Without Tears program. We'll review how to write the capital letters and then slide into writing the lowercase letters. And that is it for language arts. And again, if you have any questions or concerns with anything we talked about, please feel free to.
Hi, it's Mrs. Strutz, and I'm going to talk through our math curriculum. The math program that we use here at Westview Elementary is called Math in Focus. We've used it for several years now, and it's gotten much easier over time, and you'll start to notice that the words that we use and the terms that we use or that the kids will be using at home, they're more familiar because they've done it in kindergarten and as we continue on in first grade. You might hear things, something called a 10 frame or a number bond. And if you're not quite sure when your child talks about a 10 frame or a number bond, ask them to tell you what they know first, and you'll pick up, you'll know exactly what that is. We've included some of these manipulatives in the packet that we sent home with your kids last week. So you'll find some manipulatives in there to be able to use to help them get through. Math goes through, the Math in Focus goes through 4 stages of development in learning a new concept. We start with a concrete, and that's where we're using manipulatives, and the manipulatives are helping the kids to, move things around, to tactilely touch and see how number bonds are made, or to, that 2 red dots and 3 yellow dots would make the number 5. Once we feel like they're pretty good with the concrete, we move on to pictorial. You'll notice that'll usually be the workbook pages and that sort of thing. We then go on to analytical, where they're kind of applying and looking a little further into things. And then finally, the final stage would be abstract, and that's where they're applying what they know to a new situation. You might see these on our pages that are called Put On Your Thinking Caps, and they're just exploring new ways to show what they have learned. We also use calendar math. So if you think in the morning, oh, we don't need to get on to do calendar math. Calendar math is a great spiral review throughout the year that we continue to go back and hit the similar concepts. So it is important that they do the calendar math with us each and every day. So questions or comments or concerns, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Parents, this is Camerata here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about social studies and science, also some first grade testing, and just some final thoughts. So in social studies and science this year, you will see assignments in Google Classroom 4 times in a 6-day cycle. So there will be days where there's no science or social studies assignments, and that's okay, but look for them about 4 days in a 6-day cycle. These assignments will look a little bit different at the beginning of this year, but we are busy working to develop lessons that are fun and engaging for your child. North Hills adopted a new resource for us teachers to use to guide us in teaching social studies, and that resource is TCI. It has a great technology component, so we are looking forward to using that this year. Some of the lessons and units that we will cover in social studies this year are citizenship, so the rights and responsibility of citizens, geography, life today and long ago, and we'll be comparing and contrasting those, cultural literacy, one nation, many people, economics such as goods and services, and we will be applying what students know to what they are learning, and also traditions, including symbols, icons, and U.S. traditions. In science, it will definitely look a lot different virtually, but we will still try to get that hands-on approach to science. We have 3 main units, sound and light, solids and liquids, and also insects. So students will be observing, predicting outcomes, forming questions, developing experiments, and also analyzing the data and communicating our findings. We will have a science journal that we will touch base and we will use. So maybe one lesson will be a hands-on approach, and then the next day we'll do the science journal to talk about some of the predictions and questions that we have developed for the students. So that's just a little bit about science and social studies. If you ever have any questions or concerns, as always, please feel free to contact your child's teacher. Just a little bit about first grade testing. We do an iReady reading and math diagnostic 3 times a year. This will look a little bit different this year again, but we will update you whenever we are going to conduct that assessment. We use data to guide the instruction and to also track student progress. So it's important that we do these assessments just as a way for us teachers to know where your child is so we can give them individualized instruction. and provide that instructional support. We will also be doing Fontes and Pinnell reading assessments, and you might hear us teachers call it F&P, and that's just to track where your child is reading compared to where the grade level that they should be reading on, and that also can help us track the student progress throughout the year. Like I said, testing will look a little bit different, but we are happy to answer any questions you have along the way. And just some final thoughts. We understand that there are many challenges that we will all face this year. So if we just work together as a team, we can help your child grow both socially and academically while continuing to foster that love of learning. As always, don't hesitate to contact us with any questions or concerns, and we're here for you, and we know you're here for your child. Let's make it a great year, and we're excited to get our learning started. Thanks so much.